Hello, hello, hello. This is Els coming to you from Beamish Crafty Corner, and today I've got something for you. We're not going to make anything. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to talk about stuff. Okay? But before you go, the stuff we're going to talk about is this. The mess. The stuff. All of this stuff. The beautiful pieces of paper that we use and we go, oh, I can't get rid of that. I have to save it. Why are we saving it? Because we put it someplace and we never use it. So, I want you to use this. It's beautiful. And I don't want you to throw it out. We all have this pile. And we all have this file that's full of color-coded paper of all of our solid color cardstocks and stuff. And what we end up with is like these pieces that aren't really big enough to do much with. So they just sit there. Because yeah, sure, you'll grab a half a sheet out of there. But this you won't use. So today I want to talk about how we can use this, okay? So give me a second. I'm going to clear my desk. And I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about how to use some of this stuff, okay? All right, hold on. Okay, we're back. This is a mason jar. It's a small one, but it's a mason jar. And we all have these. And if you don't have them, you can pick them up at the thrift store for like $1, okay? Use an old spaghetti sauce jar. It doesn't matter. Use a can. Use some kind of storage bin you already have in your office, in your room, in your craft room, okay? But get some container that you can see in to do this, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is go through our pile. Anything that's in here that's under 2 inches wide goes in the jar. If it's under 2 inches wide, but more than 4 inches long, goes in the jar. See that? That's trash. Why are we keeping that? So we'll just sort these out and we'll put them in the jar. Okay? Now, if I need to add something to a project because I'm working on something and I say, you know, a little bit of blue would look great, I can go in here and pick a strip and attach it to my project, or just cut banners out of all of these and add it to the project that I'm working on, okay? So that's our first tip. Gets rid of all those long, skinny pieces. And it doesn't matter if they're solid or if they are patterned, still put them in the jar, okay? Now, for the second one. So my second tip is for the little bit larger pieces, these pieces that are over 2 inches wide. See, this one's 2.5. So at 2.5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see, is it more than 2.5 by 3? 2.5 by 3.5, and it is. So I could cut this down to 2.5 by 3.5, and I could use this as an ATC card, okay? And that's what I do. I have a container and I just fill it up with pattern papers and solid papers that I can use as ATC cards. Some of these are even my own paintings that I've just cut down to size. Okay? And then I put them in this box. Now when this box gets too full, I get out my die cutter and I have a big punch that punches the large 2.5-inch scallop circles, and I will punch these out. So this piece right here that's sort of large, I can put this in my punch and I can get 2 ATC coins out of it. Now that's all my scrap, so I can get rid of it. And then I just put these in here, and the next time I'm doing an ATC, if I'm doing an ATC coin, I just go in and get one. If I'm doing an ATC, I can go in and get one. I've got them pre-cut. Okay. So what about pieces that, if I cut this down to an ATC card, that would be great, but I'll end up with this little extra piece on the end. No big deal. So let's cut our ATC cards. So we know that it has to be 2.5 inches wide, and this piece is 2.5 inches wide, by 3.5 inches long. And I like this side, so I'm going to cut this side. Now, I'm going to put this piece in my pre-cut ATC box. And now I have this piece, so what am I going to do with it? Well, that's where these come in. Okay? I can take this, and I can use my punches, and I can punch shapes out. Any shape that I want. Let's see if I can get one more out of here. Okay. Think we can get one more? Woohoo! Okay. So now I have some shapes cut out. Now I take the shapes and I use these to make my own ephemera. So what I do is I will take my paper scraps that I have left over, my little pieces like this, after I've cut my ATCs, put them in a bin, and I take them out to the living room. I turn on my show, and I start punching. And what I end up with is this, a collection of all these different shapes and sizes and things that I can use to then make ephemera. So another night, once I have this where I need it, I will take all of that out and I will start adding things to them to make ephemera pieces. These don't have to be fancy, okay? But I'm using my paper, and then I can use these on my projects. So I have all of these little pieces of ephemera that I've made that I can now put into any number of projects. Scrapbook pages, ATC cards, ATC coins, loaded gift bags, on gift tags, any number of things. Okay? And I don't know about you, but some days punching stuff makes me feel better. Okay? So that's how we get rid of some of the smaller pieces. Now, if you have some of the bigger pieces, and specifically these pattern ones, like this, I would automatically just put this through the punches. But this one is a little bit bigger. So I might make like 1 or 2 ATCs out of this, and then I'll end up with a piece that's like that big, and it's not quite long enough to make an ATC out of it. Well, that's where my next tip comes in. So let's move this over here. Get rid of that little bit of trash. And let's bring out the next idea. So the next idea I have is this. If I'm making a card for someone's birthday, I am less likely to include in that card a die cut. And the reason is because I'm trying to make a card, I don't want to drag out my cutting machine and get out my die cut and paper and pads and platforms and which one do I use and roll it through to make one image. So what I do is I take my large pieces that are like this, and I just sit there one day and just run them through my die cut machine. I of course cut the ones that I use most often. So I do a lot of abstract designs, so I cut a bunch of abstract designs. I cut doilies. Okay? And then I put them in one of these plastic envelopes that I make. And what I do is I stack up probably about 10 of them, and I just put a couple of staples in there so that I can see what I have. I can just look through here and I can find the one that I want. Okay? Another idea is these little photo albums. Now you can get these at the dollar store. They're usually plastic. This one, for whatever reason, was actually chipboard, but you know, they have these little pockets and they load from the top. So if you take these, you can just slide them in. You can put 5 or 6 in each one of these. Okay? Another great idea, and they're really easy to work with, and we've all seen these, you can get these in most thrift stores, is the CD case. Okay? So here's a couple of die cuts. They are the same die, and all I'm going to do is just put them in the paper, fold the paper in half, and put them in the CD case. I've already got them cut, and if I go someplace, I'm going on a trip, I'm going on vacation, I'm going to go over and craft with some friends of mine or something, I can just take this with me. I don't have to take my dies, I don't have to take my machine, I don't have to take extra paper to do it. I can just take one of these, put in the die cuts that I think I'm going to be using, and go. If I have a die cut swap, I can just take this and mail one of these to somebody. And I probably have 5 or 6 of these on the shelf right now that are just filled with die cuts. Okay? Pretty simple to do. You need a roll of parchment paper or wax paper. Parchment's the best. Or you can get a box of parchment paper. Most restaurant supply companies would have it. You can also get this through Amazon. Or if you have like a big bulk store. Someplace like Winco or Smart and Final, one of those types of places, okay? And you get 350 sheets in this box, and it's just a few bucks. Now, I cut mine down a little bit because I like them to fit in my pockets, and they're a little bit wide, and I use the extra piece in my mixed media anyway. So all I do is I just take my dies, and a stack of these, and I just start putting them together. Okay, so I'll put down a piece of paper and a die, and a piece of paper and a die, and I'll go through this. Now if I'm putting them into the book, then I will put the die in, fold the paper in half, and create these little pockets that it'll sit in, and then I just stack up these little pockets. So, easy peasy. But the things that I use most often are the ones that I punch most often. And I just spend an afternoon watching YouTube videos or Netflix and cranking these out. It's a great way to binge watch your shows. Alright guys, you know the drill. Down there's a red button. Do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to that. Like me. Ring my bell. Share me. Spread me around. I got die cuts. Not today, huh? Okay, if you've been here for a while, I want to thank you so much. You guys have no idea what you mean to me and what your support means to me. If you're new, I invite you to look around the channel and check out some of my videos. And I post probably 2 to 3 videos a week. So, I will annoy you. Ring the bell. Until the next time, guys, this is Els. Bye-bye!